Oh, hello, lamp oil, rope, bombs. I have it all, friends, as long as you have what's necessary to trade in for those things. We want a very respectable business. 350, 350. Okay, here you go. Go buy some stuff. Anyway, hello, welcome to the Lance at Game Stonks. Stonks. How about GameStop? I don't know. I'm not paid enough to give a shit about what's on my shirt. I'm just paid to be behind the counter. I think, maybe. Did I get my paycheck last week? Anyway, let's talk about some game stuff, shan't we? Anyway, to get serious, I want to talk about some journalist stuff. As longtime viewers will know, I have a lot of personal thoughts on modern journalism these days. I mean, I even had my 2 cents about old journalism. A lot of JRPG hatred. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Anyway. So apparently, I believe they're a YouTuber. I'm not familiar with them, but apparently they got in an argument with a journalist about the necessity of needing to post their playthrough with a review. Now, I definitely I'm in the middle of a lot of this because I get a few of the points of the journalist, and I, of course, understand the consumer side as someone who buys all those stuff versus, getting free handouts. So, my feelings on the subject is I definitely think there is a lot of nice credibility in actually posting your playthrough. I mean, because that's essentially what I do with basically 99% of the stuff I do in my modern stuff for like a good chunk of my channel's life. There's a very occasional time where there's something I play through but not have a play list of, and those are usually either on the grounds that it's not allowed, such like Honey Pop. Yeah, probably a little iffy on the public video sites, or something that'll be coming down the channel eventually, Fear and Hunger, which features very horrendous shit that can happen to your character upon failing, losing, and dying, which is not even allowed to be done on Twitch. So, yeah. So when I do a review on that will have to have heavy censorship on anything that has... because there's a lot of monsters that, no. So that would have been a lot of editing on that front to that. But yeah, in general, you could usually find a playthrough of anything I review usually on my secondary channel. So I definitely get the gesture. You can see the experience of the reviewer and their thought process literally while playing the game. So it's a very nice idea, but I do understand from a business aspect, and this is being very, very, very generous, by the way, that, a lot of the journalistic review sites, they'll higher priorities to get the thing out as soon as possible and shit to beat everyone. Now, I get that mentality in a way. You want to be forced, get the the bigger crowd forced. Like, I get the business stance, but it also makes you look like a shill when you're prioritizing that over having a more professional and good opinion out there. Now, reviewing every fucking game in the world is basically impossible before, every day there's hundreds of fucking digital games coming out on top of all the AAA and middleware and imports and foreign games. It's impossible for even a small team to just review everything prior to it coming out. Like me, for example, I almost never get to review anything within, its initial month. I mean, usually I don't even really play a lot of games, brand spanking new, usually. admittedly, I'm usually someone who goes over more older stuff and that. And, there's a place for that because people don't always know about everything. People stumble into things. There's a reason those, the hidden treasures and stuff of retro games and stuff like that, Because obviously, people discover stuff in the future, too. But, the journalists, are a business and they are trying to maximize profits. So I do get the idea that they need to get out there in a timely manner, which I understand to a certain capacity, that sometimes you can't always 100% a game and literally everything in it when you're trying to get it out early. But that's why I think there's a difference between like an impression video and a review. I still stick to my guns. A review should be, at least at a minimum, finishing the game. It could be it doesn't have to be the greatest and most truest and happiest ending, but you should at least finish the game. At least with one of the base endings and stuff, not like a joke ending that you can trigger in 5 minutes or something, I think that is a reasonable expectation for a review. Now, I, again, understand that's not very easy to do when there's so many fucking games coming out. And that's not even counting the shite on top of the good stuff, There is too much stuff for a few people to handle. So, understandably, it's understandable to have, force suppression, oppression type videos. But I don't think those should count as reviews. I think it is a very, very, very blah. Because, let's face it, a lot of journalists that don't do full playthroughs when they do reviews and shit. And that leads to stuff where people are like, how the fuck did this get okayed? Or what? Man, I don't understand. What? And you see, that's what the interesting idea of suggesting them to post their gameplay. Now, of course, I do understand the argument, usually their reviews come out before the game. So if they post, say, a full playthrough of a game with the review, then, yeah, they just posted the whole game on the internet before it came out. Now, I do get the logic. That's probably not going to fly very well. Now, I do think you could make the argument that after the game comes out, to do that then. Because everyone else is. So I don't see a problem with that way. But I do understand not being able to post it if it's a review that's prior to the game coming out. Because honestly, yeah, the game companies don't really like the full playthroughs or cutscene compilation things a lot of times, So I get that, especially for the crowd that just, just wants to watch it. They want you to go buy it, So, I get that, You can't do that. Understandable, that would be frowned upon, having it prior to the game. But when the game comes out, then you don't really have a case there. Because everyone else is going to do it. Most companies don't, frown upon Let's Plays these days. They may not like it, but they face the reality that to really do anything, they have to go to court and have to go through that. And, there's a case to be made both ways on the legit... Sorry, I just had to check that Discord message. Waiting for something very important, just in case. So... apologies. Anyway. So, I think it would give some more legends to journalists to do, actually, that activity. Especially since, after all, anyone who's worth any gaming cred knows real, quote-unquote, journalism is at all-time fucking low in trust. People would rather believe scummy YouTubers... And I don't mean that towards everyone on YouTube. You know what I mean. The shilly people who are actually doing scam things over fucking journalists is basically what I mean. But I definitely trust actual reviewing people on YouTube, obviously way more than journalists anyway. Like I appreciate people like me and other people who are actual gamers who take the time to put their opinion on these things. Lot more credibility than a bunch of greedy fuckheads who go to, I don't know, like Guitar Hero giant celebrations and shit on the whole event while enjoying it, and then give the game like a shit review because they clearly actually don't like music games at all. So it brings up the credibility of why the fuck they will even put on the assignment to review the product when they clearly had biases against it and clearly have an issue of putting those biases to the side to do a proper review. Not that I'm referring to any direct people. You know if you know. Anyway, But anyway, I do understand, not everyone's into everything and stuff. I certainly ain't into everything either. That. So, it is important that if someone can't properly review something without that hatred for something getting in the way majorly, it's best to let someone who actually, I don't know, is familiar with that, deal with the review. That was my problem with old review journalists a lot of times with JRPGs. Clearly, a lot of these people hated fucking RPGs or Japanese RPGs directly. And yeah, that led to obviously a lot of people of my caliber not really liking journalism to begin with, let alone how it is now, where basically everyone basically makes fun of it at all for everything. Because, Baldur's Gate 3, Bear 6, that's perfectly fine. But, when we get bikinis involved, that's where we draw the line now. We draw the line at bikinis, not bestiality. What are you normies about? Is this seriously I hope somebody's looking at this pod and thinking I'm actually joking and not really referring to someone who really was trying to defend bestiality. I mean, I don't have a problem with it because it's a fictional game and that, but I mean, it was just so funny to me. Yeah, I draw the line at bikinis, but bear sex in a medieval fantasy, that's good shit. I think I'm dying. Okay. Oh, sorry. That was too much. That was too much. Oh man. Bottom line though, I think journalists actually should take this advice to some heart, because honestly, even if it's not a full playthrough and just a decent chunk or highlights or something, I think would go a long way of earning some trust for you as a reviewer and the quote-unquote professional journalist over the, how should we say, the people who spend a little too long in the Cuphead tutorial, if you catch my drift anyway. Those are my little thoughts on the subject topic, if you don't mind. Again, I obviously have some biases because I do actually do that. Like I said, I do post my playlist, and I have my reviews, so you can check that out. And I like that idea. Like I said, I believe a review should be some capacity of the product. Not necessarily the best ending, but should be at least something, I think it's fair. And after all these people, teams, I'm a single individual who does this shit, And I work a full-time job. My full-time job isn't doing the reviews, so, just a little. Anyway, thank you for joining me at my little shop. Remember, bring all your trade-ins. We'll give you $3.50 for until next time. I'll see you here at the renting table of my store. Yes. Hey, get back to work. Fuck off.